Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. I want to talk today about a tactic, and I think what I'll do is I'll do a series of talks on some of the tactics that I encountered while I was an activist, and in that way forearm the next generation of activists who are fighting against Islamophobia within the UK, within the English-speaking Western world. Look, one of the tactics was to isolate or make you distance yourself from other activists and other people speaking out. And the way they would do that is they would demonize a certain person, and then they would say, well, look, that person's X, that person's bad. Why are you associating with them? Because if you associate with them, that means you are supporting or part of or agree with that person. So that they would say, this person is an anti-Semite, and if you go to their website, if you share something that they have, therefore clearly you're sharing something from an evil person, that means you are also an evil person. See how it can be? And it becomes so micro in that way, in the fact that you can't even share something without them pointing at you and saying you shared something, and that means that you're part of the group that are evil. And then they will write articles about you on the website, or if you're in a talk, they might challenge you about that. So they monitor it, they share this information, and they know exactly how to apply these pressure points. It's all organized. That's the one thing that they have that Muslims don't have. Muslims, really dumb Muslims out there, they always I've heard it a number of times, they will say, oh, Jews are really clever, they're far more clever than the Muslims. Well, that's not hard. A flipping dead donkey is cleverer than Muslims. But the reason why Jewish Zionists defeat Muslims is not because they're cleverer than us. Didn't God made them magical beings, as these thick monkeys seem to believe? It's just because of one single thing: they're organized and we're not. And if you got to the root of that, I guess they care enough to be organized. Even Muslims who care are disorganized. They will fight on their own as individual activists. They don't get together as a group. And because of that, the Jews can easily, Jewish Zionists can knock the living daylights of any individual activists out. Anyway, getting back to it. Now, I remember this happening to me. Both me doing, falling for this tactic, and other people also falling for it against me. Let me give you an example. Sama Yaqub was an example. Now, I knew Sama Yaqub as an activist for a number of years. No, we're not tight. I don't ever, she wasn't my best mate or anything. I never hang out with her. But I had, as I do with any person who speaks up for Muslims, I've got a lot of love for them. Anyone who defends Muslims in a time when it's not popular to defend Muslims, and anyone who stands up for Muslims, I got a lot of love for that type of person. And I don't really care if I agree with everything they say. I got a lot of love for them. Now, that doesn't mean that I thought much of Sama Yaqub as a strategist. She was definitely no strategist, barely a tactician, but she had some guts, let's say. She was someone who spoke out, and there was hardly any of us out there who did. And that type of people who do speak out and defend Muslims, are just such a small bunch of people that you know them all in that way, and so you have a lot of respect. You care about them. And I mean, it's strange because I'm diverting, but the amount of Muslims through my years of activism used to say, when confronted by being inactive and me calling them out, they would go, well, how do you know, bro, how many Muslims there are being active? Only the most thickest dead monkey would not know, because all the people that said this type of thing, all these kind of religious dudes with the big beards, always are arguing, how do you know how many Muslims are out there defending Muslims? But they don't go showing it off. If you're an activist, that's the whole point. You have to get out there and be obviously defending Muslims. No secretly defending Muslims, you muppet. I'm not gonna go on the march because I'm secretly defending the Muslims from my bedroom. No, it doesn't work like that. And all the other various activities that you have to do, they're all public. So what happens is So the only people who didn't know how many people were active or how few the number were that were defending Muslims were the people who weren't doing anything. They were always the ones who in their wild imagination would think there was millions of people out there fighting the cause, and only they were staying behind, learning the deen. Anyway, right, getting back to it. So Salma Yaqub was one of these people who I had some sort of care for, because she was someone defending Muslims for no other reason. And I remember her once saying to me that she couldn't be seen with me. She couldn't be seen with me because obviously her reputation would be tarnished by the very people that hate Muslims in the first place. Now, I took that really badly, I must say, right? Now, that's not the only reason why I don't like Salma Yaqub, right? And I know some of you don't know I don't like her. There's other reasons, but no point going. This is not an anti-Salma Yaqub bashing session. But even she had fallen for this, for this tactic of divide and conquer. Everyone was labelled a bad person, and everyone should stay away from it. And that really upset me when she said that. I never forgave her to this day. But to be fair, it's unless you're forearmed, and Muslims are so thick, that our leaders are so thick, our scholars are as dumb can be, that they don't help young activists and to understand how to deal with these type of strategies. And I myself, I'm guilty of it. I distanced myself from Gilad Altsman when people said to me, oh, he's a bit dodgy, he might be a bit anti-Semitic. I didn't go near him. I didn't look at his blogs. I didn't read his posts, because in my mind I thought, oh, I'm already fighting for Muslims and I don't need any bad press while I'm doing it. Same with David Irving, to be honest. When they came and they accused me of giving him £60 or something for his case. There's nothing actually really wrong with that. Big deal. And so what? Now, as a mature person, thought it through in my mind, what's the big deal? But at that point, again, I thought, whoa, I shouldn't have gone anywhere near David Irving. And to be fair, to this day, I really feel pain in my heart about doing that. Now, I'm not saying David Irving, is the nicest guy in the world. I'm not the nicest guy in the world. I'm definitely far worse than probably he is. So who am I to judge? Now, but again, I distance myself, yeah? And I would never be associated with him. Like he gives a damn if I was associated with him. But I said it, and I made it public. And again, that hurt another human being by playing into this. Are you this person we don't like? Are you involved with them? And me, no. Honestly, a bit of Pontius Pilate. That story in the Bible. I think his name's Pontius. Is it Pontius Pilate or Judas? Is it Judas? The guy who says, I don't know who this Jesus is. I've never met him before, because he's scared for his own neck. Whoever he is, probably Judas, right? And that's how I behaved, and that's how they make everyone behave. They make everyone frightened of connecting, and because we don't stick as a team, because we don't go, sorry mate, just because I agree with some of his points doesn't mean I agree with everything. I agree with some of his points. It doesn't mean I can't sit with him. Doesn't mean I can't discuss it with him. Doesn't mean I can't go on his website. Doesn't mean I can't share anything from him. I remember actually Max Blumenthal, who I've got a lot of respect for, once telling me not to, or warning me not to forward a tweet from someone. I can't remember who it was now. It was that previous BBC television host who then went on to claim he was Jesus, and then said there was lizard men around or something. David Icke, I think that's the guy, and I think I forwarded something from him, and Max Blumenthal considered him an anti-Semite, and then said, oh, you shouldn't, why are you doing that? And that's how it goes. Can you see? Even people who are pro-Palestinian Jews, you can't forward that from that person. That makes you a bad guy. No, again, it's a tactic to stop people having any connection with anyone who might agree with them. You don't have to agree with absolutely everything someone says to retweet something. You don't even have to agree with them on that tweet, yeah? But what they do is they make you distance yourself from everyone, so everyone is isolated. Everyone is on their own. Don't talk to him because he's really bad. Are you really bad? Because if you do, then we're going to call you a supporter of him. And all you do is go, well, no, I'm not. And then you end up just fighting on your own. Look at this kind of the way they attack Nadia Chan and all these people. Everyone just, well, if they're attacking her, we'll leave her alone. Everyone's on her, she can fight alone. And that's something I'm trying to say to you Muslims. Watch out for that. Don't let them use that tactic. If they say another Muslim brother is a bad guy, well, guess what? You got a bad guy in your £5 note. Winston Churchill killed 5 million people by starving them to death in India. And that didn't stop. You've not distanced yourself from him. You've stuck him on your £5 note. Netanyahu, who could be worse than him? How many Jews are distancing themselves from him? The vast majority of Jews in the world support Israel. They don't distance themselves from each other. It's we that are forced to distance ourselves from our brothers and sisters. So it's just something I'd like to say. It's a tactic. It's been used. I fell for it in the past, and it caused me damage. It turned people against me and turned me against other people that I had no reason to go against. There was no purpose in it, and it benefited no one apart from those who hate us both. Yeah? It's not like the people that are saying to you, distance yourself from Oscar, love you. Why do they hate me? They hate me because I'm standing up for Muslims. So clearly they hate you if you're a Muslim or someone who stands up for Muslims. So what are you distancing yourself from each other for? Stand together. Black people learnt that. Muhammad Ali learnt that. Malcolm X learnt that. You don't get in the way from in between us brothers. Whatever your argument is, that's between you. Me and my brother might have our differences, but that's between us. Yeah? So, you know, stick together. Don't fall for that tactic. Love to hear your comments if you agree or disagree. All right. Assalamu alaikum.